Hey, what's up you guys? This is MCLegoboy here with 76141 Thanos mech, 152 pieces of another Marvel mech. There's only one other, and that's the Spider-Man one. I didn't get the Spider-Man one.
He's a menace to the entire city!
But I got this one specifically because, I mean, it's got some cool gold parts in it. Ingots and wedges and things and, like, parts to make an infinity gauntlet. Like, that's pretty cool. Also, like, a small version of Thanos. I never got any of the Infinity War or Endgame sets, but I don't really like the idea of there being a big fig version of Thanos. He just kind of looks all hunched over. Doesn't look right. Obviously, he's bigger and taller than anybody else. But, you know, I mean, he doesn't look like that. He doesn't look like the typical big fig. He's just a normal guy that's just a little bit bigger, you know. But whatever. So, yeah, you know, I got this because I needed to get to a certain threshold for free shipping, so that I could get my dot sets, and decided I might as well try and get some sets that I didn't get before, or try to get multiples of that I own already, stuff like that. So, you know, go with something new that will come with other interesting parts, like dark blue and gold. So, you know, pretty cool. So, time to get building and review it. As was the case with the Iron Man mech, we got 3 bags, and yeah, again, I mean, it's still just like, wow, 3 bags? Really? That's crazy. And we do have some stickers here. I actually thought that this big dark blue one was going to be a sticker too, but it wasn't. I'm actually very surprised at that. These feel like they could be usable in other stuff, so I mean, if you ever got the set, you don't have to put the stickers on there. You can use them in other places. But, you know, I'm not going to do that. Anyway, let's get to building. And here he is, the Mad Titan. So, yeah, man, like, these mech sets, they're pretty cool. I never picked up the Spider-Man one. I don't really have much of a desire to. I mainly got the Iron Man and Thanos ones because of the colors and the parts. And I don't really need more red and blue parts. So, I'm okay with missing out on a Spider-Man. I've already got a Spider-Man, but I didn't have an Iron Man, and I definitely did not have a Thanos. And as I said before, I'm not too big a fan of the Big Fig version of Thanos, because while he is like that proper height, he's always hunched over as a Big Fig, and it's like that's not really Thanos, you know. I'd much rather have just a minifig version of Thanos. So that's the beauty of this set, is that you get a nice little simple minifigure of Thanos. It looks pretty cool. And this, I can say, mostly takes inspiration, like the set itself kind of takes inspiration from both the comics and the MCU. So the current Marvel Cinematic Universe going on could be a mix of both, really. I want to say this, though, is probably based more off of the comics, and that is this version of Thanos. And it looks good. And amazingly, no double-sided head. I'm surprised, since he has a helmet. But I suppose, since LEGO knew that most people, including myself, would know Thanos more from the Infinity War and Endgame movies, and considering that he doesn't have a helmet much in either of those movies, he has it more in Endgame, but it gets broken up pretty early on in the big fight at the end. We mostly know him for not having the helmet. Oh geez, I just threw him on the ground. But all that to say, this helmet's pretty rad, and it's based off of not based off of, it is from the old Knights Kingdom 2 line from the mid-2000s with King Vladek and all his forces. I don't think... No, this was not Vladik's helmet. This would have been like one of his regular goons, one of his soldiers. They would have had this type of helmet. But it works perfectly for Thanos. I mean, it's great. And, like, it frames his head perfectly. I mean, how impressive is that they're still using this head, this helmet? Maybe they grabbed it out of the back somewhere and started making molds in gold, or they, like, redesigned the piece slightly. I don't know. But it works perfectly. I have no idea how much of that was actually in focus, because I've got all this stuff in the background. Don't need it. 4 stickers in the set, by the way. Not that it's important, but, you know. 4 stickers in the set. And then a whole host of extra parts. None of them duplicated, though, so that's pretty neat. And we've got these nice metallic gold. They are lacquered pieces, so like, I don't know what piece the color what color the piece actually is, but then they're kind of like painted gold. So that's pretty cool. And there are a few of those parts in this set. So yeah, take your Thanos fig, which looks fantastic, and put him in the Mech, which has what I've kind of dubbed the Friends panel part for their legs, because they're always used to secure Friends mini dolls in their vehicles and such, and it works well for this Mech, nice and secure. I want to say that this is part of the old Nexo Knights little Mech guys.
Correct!
And this dark blue Nexo Knight shield, honestly, I was kind of hoping that it wouldn't have been printed, but seeing it printed, that is also kind of neat. It does kind of limit what you could use this part for, but it's also, like, not very descript. It's not the same as, say, the arc reactor for the Iron Man set on that 1x2 chi slope. So, yeah. And I got this mainly for parts, the dark gray inverted slopes, the dark blue regular slopes, all those different slopes that are in this set. These 2x2 inverted tiles that I didn't even know were in the set. That's pretty cool. These dark tan. Oh, I can't rip that off of there because it's stuck with a pin. But these dark tan 2x2 rounds with just the single stud on it, great. Black inverted guys. You've got dark tan headlight bricks. You've got metallic gold cheese slopes. You've got pearl gold parts in here. Ingot. You've got some of these color parts. You got a big 3x3 metallic gold dish. You've got metallic gold tiles up here. Just a good host of pieces in great colors. Not to mention all the gold that's going on in his hands. And then this giant mitt of an infinity gauntlet. Now, I don't know how many people know this, but in the comics, the infinity gauntlet was literally just one of Thanos' regular gloves. And he put the gems on it. In the movie, and kind of since then, maybe in like and then in the comics, like when they get rid of Thanos, or like they remove the gauntlet from his hand, the glove just kind of, like, whoever has it, they shrink and grow the glove to whatever size it needs to be. But now that there's like the movies, it's probably more of like, hey, I need this specific thing to hold the infinity gems, or the infinity stones, or the infinity hypercubes, MacGuffins, whatever you want to call them, from whatever multiverse you are from. So, yeah, man, like, just look at the size of this mitt. It's just, it's bombastic, and yet I love it. The biggest problem that I really have with it, I'll get to later, though. But as I mentioned before, just a number of great parts in here. Hips are connected with an axle, and or not an axle, a pin, and the triple mixel joint piece. And because these are all mixel joints, it's great. Also, Mech that has knees, and Mech that has knees, I know that has plagued the Mech fan base for a few years, not having any articulation in the knees, and I guess because these are small enough figures with the mixel joints, they are given knees. So you take what you can get, I guess. You can rotate you can rotate this foot all over the place, and a lot of good mobility, actually. Because unlike the Iron Man mech, they made it possible for you to actually have the toes do a bit more. Or I guess to give the ankle a bit more movement. When it comes to the arms, the forearms are the same as the thighs. You do get a handful of good inverted brackets and 1x1 brackets in the set, so that's pretty cool. And then you have this one hand inverted slope here, half axle piece on here for the thumb, so his hand looks really good. And when you clinch it up, it actually kind of does what your own hand does, where the pinky's in a little further and the index is a little more out, because that's just the shape of the slope and everything. It really works out. But now we'll get on to this gauntlet, because I got some things to say. So first, I mean, I really don't have much of a problem with it. But I will say that the sculpting, great. Like the construction overall, great. I mean, like you're using one of these cool little gray guys in here to make him have 5 fingers, although that kind of makes it a little weird when you've got only 4 over here and then you've got 5 here. You do get a great amount of mobility out of all of these. Although you can't really kind of bring them all together and clinch them up. They all kind of get in each other's way. That's more a constraint of the parts, not so much the fact that it's like, oh yeah, you know, they could have done this better. I mean, it's like, you say that, how else are you going to do it, you know? You also can't really get them to make a fist necessarily because of that reason. So the closest you can get is something like this, which doesn't look bad, but you know, it does look a little weird on the other side of things. It's more like how gorillas beat their chest. I know this because of the old documentary type stuff on King Kong from 2005, which is crazy to say old, but I mean, it's 15 years old. It's technically kind of old now. But Andy Serkis, he played King Kong through motion capture, and he noticed that gorillas don't actually hit their chest with a full fist. They go more an open palm route, so it's more like this. And that's kind of what's going on with Thanos's hand over here. You do get the chance to kind of wiggle the thumb a little bit. You can give them a thumbs up. You obviously, because you have a number of fingers here, you can do all sorts of things. So, peace, my dudes. Y'all gonna get dusted. So yeah, I like all of these gold parts. They're just cool, like really cool. But obviously, because of this pinky being constructed the way it is, it looks kind of weird. Oh, jeez. I ruined him. He's dead. I broke his fingers. I don't know, like... There we go. hang loose. I don't know, but it obviously you can do all sorts of things with this hand. Can't quite get it to where he could snap. It like so it's gonna look it's gonna look a little weird. But you can't get the thumb and fingers to really meet up anywhere, so you can't get them to snap. And I guess at this point, I'm just going to go on more of the tangent that I had going with the Infinity Gauntlet. Infinity War establishes this rule that he needs to have the gauntlet to contain the power of all 6 Infinity Stones. When in actuality, if you have an Infinity Stone, you don't have to worry about being overrun with its power. All right? If you are like obtained an Infinity Stone or Infinity Gem, Hypercube, whatever, like you can do whatever you want with that gem. You don't have to be like worthy or strong enough to hold it. And then like as soon as you have more than one, you're like, okay, like this person is kind of a threat. But Thanos, like, he's in possession of the gems. He can do whatever he wants. He doesn't need to close his fist. He doesn't have to snap his fingers to wipe out half of all life. In the comics, it's just him wiping out half of life to appease Mistress Death, which I like the whole idea of him wanting to balance out the universe, and like he believes in it. He has a philosophy behind that, and it's more from a place of good intentions, but also going about it wrong, versus it just being a guy that's trying to impress this woman that wants nothing to do with him. So, you know, you kind of go back and forth on like, what's the best option to go with. I think obviously for the movie, that's the best that they went with. That option was the best. And so sticking with him having a form of morality instead of just being this guy that wants to destroy everything, I think that works. The way the MCU uses the Infinity Stones, like, I'm not a huge comic guy, but like based off of the stuff that I have learned from Comic Explained and Comic Pop, like through Sal and Rob and Tiffany, and through Benny of Comic Storian, I used to watch the Weekly Poll podcast, and now it's Absolute Comics. Like hearing all the nerds talk about stuff, Joel from Cape Joel and the Elseworlds Exchange, they have a knowledge of all this comic book stuff, and it's great to like hear about it and what makes it cool. Because, you know, for me, I never really got into comics at all, but now I'm like, I don't know, man, comics are kind of cool. I don't know if I'll ever get around to reading them, but I'm not against having a conversation about them, obviously, because I'm still going on about this whole thing. But like, when you see like the Power Stone having like this power to obliterate you because you're not strong enough, that kind of makes sense. All the other stones, like, they don't make any sense at all as to why you couldn't wield them. In fact, you see that like somebody can just hold the Soul Stone in their hand. It's not a problem. The Time Stone is in the Eye of Agamotto, which is not what the Eye of Agamotto is, so that's another thing. But like, people are able to hold stones, no problem. Absolutely no problem. But the Power Stone is the one that's gonna like wreck you if you hold it. So that's kind of cool. But then it's like, as soon as you start getting like multiple of them, they're gonna like destroy your body and everything. I'm like, but like, if you have the Space Stone, you have control over all things space related. You can make things intangible if you want. You can increase the density of stuff. You can teleport, you know, all sorts of things like that. If you have the Power Stone, that just amplifies all the other Infinity Stones, which have infinite power already. So it's like infinity times infinity. How does that work? The Reality Stone, you can do whatever you want with that, and they use it to great effect. The Time Stone, again, you can increase time locally, or you can reverse time universally. You can do whatever you want with time. It's amazing. The Mind Stone, you have the power over the mind and the soul. Again, it's like all that stuff about like life and like what makes a person, like all that stuff. Like you have control over all those things. You don't need an arbitrary device that can contain all the power, you know? And you certainly don't need to snap everything out of existence. You can just think it and it will happen. They just did that in the comics because it's a great looking moment and an iconic image. It's not so much that, yes, it must be done this way, you know? But anyway, rant over. I think that this set's fantastic. Great parts pack. You should totally pick it up because 152 parts for $10. Like, yeah, there's a number of small parts in here, but they're all great usable parts. And considering that you get a number of lacquered gold and pearl gold parts, in addition to all the dark blue and everything, like you can make stuff out of this. It's worthwhile. It's not like some set. It's like, oh, it comes with like this rare color and I gotta get it. And it's like, no, like everything in here is great. So I say go and do it. This has been MCLegoboy with 76141 Thanos Mech. Peace, my dudes.
I'm going slightly mad.